You guys suggested this video to me. The name of it is She Mocks God, but this happens. Oh no. Oh no. Y'all already know how I get down. I'm Team Jesus. Okay. Right now, if you're in a different religion, I don't really care about that. I don't disrespect other religions at all. I know who I'm riding with. You know what I'm talking about? And more importantly, I'm with the faith. There's a lot of people trying to disrespect Jesus nowadays. That's disgusting. That's nasty. Yeah, go ahead and mock him. See what happened. So I didn't even watch this video. I could already tell I'm agreeing with it. But let's get straight into it, man.
Some very disturbing things are happening in the world around us. Let's take a look at 7 stories that have been going viral and comment on them from a Christian perspective. The last one is absolutely shocking. At number 7 is Demi Lovato, and probably the most evil song ever written, called Swine, which openly promotes the ending of preborn life.
Well, now she has a surprise new single. It is titled Swine, and it was made specifically to promote you got to promote She said, I created Swine to amplify the voices of those who advocate for choice and bodily autonomy.
My life, my voice, my rights, my choice.
Yo, she's what? All right, I'm in such shock because I used to be such a fan of Demi Lovato. Camp Rock. Right. And what was the other change she did? Sunny with a Chance. Right. There's a few things that she did, man, that I actually really liked. And her music was dope too. All this new woke stuff that she doing, I'm not down with that, yeah. So I definitely can't support any of this. And this is what she's pushing. This is the agenda. You know what I mean? Little girls grew up watching her and probably just gonna follow whatever she says. It's very dangerous.
It's pretty shocking that such evil behavior would be so unashamedly endorsed in a song like this. Demi Lovato is basically saying that if she is not allowed to end the life of her preborn child, the people are treating her like a pig, like a dirty animal.
And of course, she's.
That's a dumb comparison. That's a really dumb comparison. Now, I don't believe that you should control anyone's body, but I'm going to go with what the Lord says, man. Have the child. If you don't want to care for that child, there's a family that I'm sure that would be grateful to raise that kid, bro, and take care of them, right? I'm always going to say that abortion is the last option and it should never be an option, but I still do uphold with no one can tell you what to do with your body, right? I'm not going to tell someone what to do with their body. If I was dating a girl and she got pregnant and she chose to go this route, that is your choice. But if you think that you're going to have anything to do with me in any way, shape, or form, no, you done. Like, we ain't talking. Don't call me. If you see me in the streets, you a stranger. I will walk right past you. It'll be like a Black Mirror episode and your whole body is like just blurred. I would just walk right past you, bro. You're done. Like, there's no need to talk to me in any way, shape, or form.
Standing on a, she's going to be burned at the stake. So basically she's saying she's swine. To get this argument straight, she's swine.
That's how she was on Glee. I only watched like maybe the first few episodes, maybe a little bit of the first season, I would say, of Glee. I just couldn't get down with it. I like music, and I like usually like dramas are like that around that topic and things like that, and around that realm. You know what I'm talking about? I gave Riverdale a chance, and it was trash. Right? I grew up on the CW. Right, the Smallvilles, the One Tree Hills. I gotta keep going, huh? I keep naming them, boy. The Grassies, right? So I'll give it a chance, but then,
unless you allow her.
Wasn't for me. Wasn't for me. Maybe I'll give it another chance sometime down the road.
To be absolutely promiscuous and kill the baby that is produced. Right, so what makes her human is actually the thing that makes her most animal.
But it's not just Demi Lovato who's communicating horrific things about this evil practice. For example, both Stacey Abrams and Gavin Newsom have communicated atrocious things about this practice as well. It is now normal for countless people to not only support, but celebrate one of the worst sins in the world.
How many of you, when that came on, thought about Stacey Abrams, right? Running for governor of Georgia, who's arguing that that's manufactured in order to deceive women. She's running for governor of Georgia. And she argued that what we heard just now is something that's been manufactured in order to deceive women.
Did I miss the clip?
That's how far people will go. That's how deeply ingrained this is. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who's basically
I didn't see. Did I miss the clip, bro? Like,
put his flag in the ground and said, listen,
nah.
California is going to be an abortion destination state. We'll help you get here.
At number 6
That's
is
crazy.
Starbucks, reportedly telling store owners to not put out pride decoration in their stores, which has resulted in much outrage from progressives.
I
But
didn't
they
see
have
the
a new
problem with
thing that they are
Yeah, I didn't see the issue with stores telling you, yo, we're not putting these decorations up. It's their store. What are you? All right, start your own business. Put up whatever you feel.
very upset about because Starbucks has allegedly banned pride decorations from its stores halfway through Pride Month. Drama ensuing, tears, crying, outrage. TikToks have been posted.
Here is one sample TikTok about what Starbucks is doing, as well as some of the comments from
crying?
critics of what Starbucks is doing.
Oh my God, they're coming down. The drama. The caption says, how is Starbucks, a so-called pro-LGBTQ plus company, celebrating Pride Month this year? By taking down pride flags across the U.S. And then they wrote a whole
That's so stupid. So because they don't have, like, I don't know, black people flags everywhere, that means that they don't support black people. Like you have to have a flag from every destination, all types of different like philosophies everywhere, just to make sure everyone's represented. Like, man, get your coffee and go. Man, like, I ain't got no time for that. I couldn't work at a Starbucks. Like, where's your pride flag? What would you like to order, sir? But where's the pride? What would you like to order, sir? Like, what do you, are you ordering? Okay, next. Man, who cares about all this extra stuff? Like, is my coffee going to taste better?
long caption, and the comments were just as dramatic. Somebody else said, the Starbucks around me has nothing, not even merch to buy. Somebody else said, I still don't know why they're not up at my local store. Every year in the past, they have been absolutely in your face with flags. Now, nothing.
The behavior of Starbucks is incredibly shocking because Starbucks is considered to be on the front lines of supporting everything that people on the left celebrate.
Bam, I guess I'm gonna need to get me some McDonald's merch. Need me some Taco Bell. I need to walk out with a shirt that let them know how much I like double quarter pounders. We need to have that imagery. We need that merch. Can we please sell those? Oh no, you selling Pride merch. Why was that a thing?
And Starbucks
Why was
is
that
just
ever a
one
thing?
out of many corporations that seem to be changing regarding their public support for behavior that much of the country does not want to be bombarded with constantly. At number 5 is Google doing something pretty shocking in disassociating itself from drag events. Google is a very progressive and left-leaning organization. So
I'm about to say, why would they even be behind that in the first? What does that have to do with Google? Right? And listen, do whatever you do. If you're doing a drag event, fam, everyone's adults and have a ball. See what I did there? See what I did there? I know about the culture. I actually did a lot of outreach when I was a teenager. Even though I'm a straight male, they still allowed me to do outreach. It was because, long story short, when I was homeless as a teen, right, I got helped by this program. And then once I was hired by the program, eventually we got funding from the Alphabet community to where they became majority of the funding. Then they had us pretty much doing outreach to homeless kids within that community. I didn't mind. Homeless is homeless, fam. I was trying to help. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot about a culture that I have nothing to do with, right? I don't care if you're doing drag. Have a ball. See what I did there? They know. They know. But go ahead. Like, as long as you're not wilding out, let's not have kids there. I don't think that's necessary.
it is surprising that even Google is caving to pressure to remain at least somewhat neutral in the culture wars.
I've got an interesting story out of Google. Google, looking at what has happened with Bud Light,
Shout out to the
with
quarter.
Target, with Starbucks, many other companies, looks like they have decided to cancel Pride. That's right. I mean, you heard me. Google now
they
dropping
cancel Pride?
sponsorships of various Pride and Drag shows after hundreds of workers signed petitions calling it a direct
Whoa.
affront to the religious beliefs and sensitivities of Christians. Hey, you know, I feel like I've always had a pretty sensible take on this, if I do say so myself, but this is wild.
That joint is what it is. Like, I don't know why they was backing it in the first place, unless they are going to back everything. Which would still, that just doesn't make sense. How about you make my search engine better? Like, how about you work on that, Google? How about you pay these YouTubers a little bit more? Since you want to give it out, you giving out the bag for Pride. How about you take some pride in your creators, the people that's bringing a bunch of people to your platform? How about you pay them a little bit more, since you just giving out the bag in the first place? As far as, I don't care. Like, I mean, that's not necessary in the first place. Anyone who would be upset, right, that they did pull support, fam, you expect them to be supporting forever, right? Even if, no matter what movement it was, right? Like, if you're doing some kind of fundraiser, are they supposed to, the same people that supported you supposed to come every year? Damn, son, I'm supposed to be a lifetime supporter of Red Cross. That sounds pretty intense. What if I just wanted to help out? Like, what if I ain't got it? What if Google, what if they ain't got it? What if they like, yo, listen, we got to cut back, bro. We kind of losing money and I expected us to make more. Do we have anything that we could just cut the funding on? Well, you've been giving a bunch of money to Pride for forever. That's not necessary. 86 stack. What else? What else? What else can we cut? We need the budget. Like, man.
I've never seen the left cede so much ground before in my life, and we're seeing it all happen in a single month. In June, of which there's only a few days left. Thank goodness.
It really does seem like something big is happening in the culture. Whereas in the past, pretty much every corporation would proudly support behavior that is contradictory to the Christian worldview. It seems that now there is enough backlash from conservatives and Christians against this that many corporations are now thinking twice before doing things that might offend half the country.
Yeah, if you're blatantly taking a side if you do that, right? Like, that's blatant as day. And if you're going to do that, stand on it. Don't claim to be neutral, but then yet you're funding a side of, I guess, the culture war in a sense, right? It doesn't make sense. Or if you're going to take the stance, stand there, whatever. And then people who, you know, are Christians, who ain't with that, who's conservative, they just not going to rock with you. And then you just got to, you know, deal with that. Just is what it is, right? A lot of these companies, they try to play the neutral game, but then you can't play the neutral game by supporting another movement. By doing so, you're disrespecting the other. Sometimes it's like that, especially when it comes to what they stand for, right? It just is what it is. I know me personally, especially as I'm growing and maturing, I'm definitely leaning towards the more Christian conservative side of things. I will not do business somewhere if it doesn't lean towards that. I just feel that way. Me and my older brother was just having a conversation about that, fam. If it's too much craziness and y'all wilding out and you got the flags, I might not do business there, because for me, that feels like you disrespecting me now. I feel like you saying I ain't welcome here, right? I feel like if I come in and speak normally, people are going to be offended because they're going to start talking about pronouns and all this other stuff that I just came to get my coffee. Can I get my coffee? I barely want to put my name on there. I don't like that. Why you want my name? I always put a fake name. But every store I've ever gone to where they've asked my name for the order, I have always given a fake ass name. Why do you need all that information from me?
At number 4 is the Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action at Harvard and South Carolina. Critics of this decision say that this ruling is a step.
Hold on. I don't want to neglect Muslims too as well. Shout outs to the Muslim. Hey, just because I'm a Christian don't mean I ain't got love for the Muslims out there, man. Shout outs to the Muslims too. Yes, 100%. They are fighting against a lot of this woke agenda as well. Shout outs to them. A lot of people don't want to admit, yes, there is a culture war, bro. It's 100%. Fam, and I'm not trying to spread anything. Fam, it's so apparent. it is so apparent, bro, that playing neutral-ish, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work, fam. No kind of progress is gonna get made doing that. You have to take a firm stance on, I'm not rocking with this. Now, I'm not saying you should condemn or try to do anything that can cause harm to anyone who doesn't agree with you, but stay firm in your stance and don't let people dictate what you're going to do or what you're comfortable with, right? Like, I think that's simple, but a lot of people, they act like that's like rocket science. That's like rocket science, man.
Backwards regarding social justice, and that particular groups deserve to be treated in a special manner because of injustices in the past. Barack and Michelle Obama are two very high-profile people who are speaking out against this decision.
I hate Obama.
Well, folks, Barack and Michelle Obama both got into college through affirmative action, undoubtedly, and both of them are very upset that the Supreme Court just decided that you can no longer use race for admissions when it comes to college. Barack and Michelle Obama are sounding off on this. Then Barack Obama.
I'm not even the guy that's going to be like telling people to go to college. I do believe that people should start learning that trades are possible, right? You can get into a trade, right? And then if you want to go to college and add to your trade or something, there's a whole bunch of possibilities, bro. So I'm not going to say like college is mandatory, but I do think that if you're going to go to college route, it should be based on your credentials, not the color of your skin or anything like that. That just sounds stupid to me.
Put out like a 2-sentence statement, quote, like any policy, affirmative action wasn't perfect, but it allowed generations of students like Michelle and me to prove we belong. Now it's up to all of us to give young people the opportunities they deserve and help.
By definition, that's exactly the opposite of that. You didn't prove you belong because you didn't even earn the spot there. What? I wanted to prove I belong, so let me in because of the color of my skin. That does not prove anything.
Students everywhere benefit from new perspectives. Well, wow, that's it. You could prove, you know what's one way to prove you belong at a school? By scoring appropriately to get into that school. It's an amazing way to prove you belong.
Of course.
See, me and Ben Shapiro eye to eye with it. We eye to eye.
I'm not against doing things to help particular groups of people who may have particular disadvantages. However, when this help comes at the expense...
The chat said they're afraid or they're ashamed to admit that they voted for Obama. Hey, listen. We've all made bad decisions in our past, man, that we regret. Trust and believe, man. Just believe, man. I had my red pill moment and felt the same. And like, how could I be so stupid? Why? What was I thinking? Once I started seeing society for what it really was. But you shouldn't feel like that, man. You definitely shouldn't feel like that. Once you became aware and definitely started making more intelligent and logical decisions, that's what you should be proud of, right? So hell yeah, man. Like you voted for Obama. Now you know. I bet you didn't vote for my man Byron. I bet you didn't go for Let's Go Brandon. Right? I know you didn't vote for him. More than likely. Right? And if you did, hopefully. Man, I kiss. You ain't gonna tell me I'm not black if I don't vote for you. You kiss my black ass with that. You don't tell me I'm black? That's crazy. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. What? That sounds insane. But yeah, I don't vote at all.
Of other groups of people who have worked equally hard, if not harder, to achieve a particular goal, then there is something very wrong with this system. The goal of social justice is not to ensure that everyone is treated equally, but rather to try to elevate particular groups above other groups, which is not really justice at all, but rather results in bias against particular groups of people.
Social justice is not about individuals, it's about groups. It's another very important distinction. It's not about individuals, it's about groups.
At number 3 is the Supreme Court ruling in favor of a Christian web designer who felt that it was against her conscience to design a website that promoted same-sex relationships. Some are saying that her behavior is a violation of the Civil Rights Act.
This morning, the Supreme Court handed down a major decision rooted in First Amendment rights, but opponents say it violates the Civil Rights Act. 6 justices ruled that certain businesses can refuse to serve gay people. In this case, they sided with a Christian website designer in Colorado who doesn't want to create websites for same-sex weddings due to religious objections.
However, it seems obvious that no person should be forced.
You can't force somebody to do. Nah, come on, bro. Why would you even, fam, if you were someone who was a part of the alphabet community, why would you even want someone who has those beliefs to even do something for you? Like, I don't understand that. If I went into a restaurant and they was like, we don't like serving blacks, I'm not going to go, well, you have to. Give me my, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't know what they going to do to it. I don't know. I don't want it. I want somebody who's going to be happy to serve me because I'm a customer, right? So like, that just don't make no sense to me. You're trying to force somebody to just go with your agenda.
Forced to do something that the person believes is immoral.
Right.
There are plenty of web designers in the country, so there's absolutely no reason to demand one particular web designer to violate her conscience in what she designs. One commenter on the video we just played made an excellent point. He writes, "I'm gay, and I support a business in their right to serve whoever they want, especially when the service inherently involves promoting something you don't agree with. Also, people keep saying this allows people to discriminate against gay people. It isn't gay people. If a gay person asked for a heterosexual site, it wouldn't have been rejected. So it isn't the person making the request, it's the request itself. Similarly to how a tattoo artist can decide to not tattoo a swastika, a web designer can choose to not serve someone they don't agree with the morality of."
Fam, I've wanted some of the dumbest tattoos ever. Fam, I regret all the tattoos I have now, but I've wanted some dumb tattoos, and some of the tattoo artists is like, no. One person told me it's like it's against my religion. I wanted something, I forgot what it was, but I wanted it on my hand, like my backhand right here. And he was like, nah. I was like, why not? He's like, it's kind of like it's against my religion. It's even the placement. You know, he's got so many other places. What about your arm? I can make it look real nice with your arm, forearm, maybe that kind of make me grand, but arms. And I was like, what? This is a professional tattoo place. And that's his rights. That's his right, fam. Shoot, he probably saved me, actually. Because I probably would have had some of the dumbest tattoos. I regret every tattoo I have now, man. I would like to get them removed.
This person is exactly right. The court's decision is not about excluding a particular group of people, but rather, it's simply about not forcing people to do something they believe is immoral.
Facts.
Another commenter brought up another good point about the hypothetical that Justice Neil Gorsuch brought up. This comment, the Constitution controls the Civil Rights Act, not the other way around. Notice how she didn't answer the question regarding the example of a gay web designer being forced to create a website for an anti-gay organization. She just decided to ignore it and make her own prepackaged statement. It seems pretty obvious that the people who are opposed to this Supreme Court decision would be very against forcing a gay web designer to design a website for an anti-gay organization. So it seems hypocritical that they would want to force a Christian web designer to design a website for something she believes is immoral. The reality is that not all love is good, and there are some kinds of love that Christians simply cannot endorse, support, or celebrate.
Remember, I told you this is an important.
It just is what it is, bro. You gotta respect. And it's not them saying that they hate you, that they want any harm or bad things for you. It's not none of that. They're just saying, listen, I'm not down with it. Why are you trying to force me to be down with it? Why would you want someone to be down with it that doesn't want to be down with it? That's all I'm saying, fam. That's all I'm saying.
Word for our day. Love can be sinful. We live in the midst of a culture that needs to hear that. It needs to hear that from us. Because it's coming at us with this whole love is love mentality. And how can you be against love? Nobody can be against love. Certainly Christians can't be against love because God is love and we are called to love. Therefore, how can you stand in the way of any two people who love one another? But our text today makes it very clear that there are instances when love can be sinful.
At number 2 is Steven Crowder's seeming dishonesty regarding the divorce he is currently undergoing. In response to video footage from Ring.
Man, I've been seeing so many people come out. Like, I've been seeing some intense, heavy ass allegations coming out with Crowder that I'm not going to pay any mind until I see some actual validity. A lot of people, just because you dislike him or because you just want to see conservatives get like destroyed, y'all just being disgusting, fam. I have my criticism for Crowder. I've given him my criticism, but all this other stuff, I'm waiting. I'm not going to talk about that.
That showed him behaving in an atrocious manner towards his wife. Stephen promised that he had,
and of course, I ain't talking about Candace Owens. She ate that. But there's a lot of other people that I'm talking about more recent. Within the last few days, I've been seeing a lot of nastiness.
evidence that would
I'll wait until I get some more information.
vindicate him.
So today, I have filed a motion to officially unseal all files as they relate to the matter of legal record, finances, relevant medical records, including mental health history or evaluations,
Such a liar.
depositions,
Slide.
and any motions or sanctions from the courts of Texas. I will not be leaking private
from
marital
Candace Owens'
information to the
video.
press. But if the privacy agreements are
voice.
not respected by all parties, I will address all that is a matter of irrefutable legal record in full context next week.
I actually waited to hear what Stephen had to say because I certainly want to hear both sides of the story.
I don't think you put it
Because
out.
at that moment, what we knew about his behavior seemed pretty inexcusable. However, next week, nothing happened. Stephen did not provide the information that he had promised to provide.
He never did that.
It'd have been real crazy if he did, though, bro. Like, he was tripping. He was tripping. Like, Candace Owens is threatening to spread personal information about my family. So next week, I'm going to spread personal information about my family. What are you doing? Anyone who was smart, who cared, told him 86 that ish ASAP. That was stupid to even say that. Why would you promise that? Shut up. Deal with your private matters in private, bro. I'm telling you, that's the smartest thing to do. I don't want none of my personal ish nowhere near the public eye because it has nothing to do with nothing. I don't want my family on camera. I don't want, if I'm dating someone, them to be all in the none of that. In fact, I can't date a chick if she's all over social media in the first place. You need to delete those pictures, bro. Like videos, all of that. Fam, it's nasty and it's toxic and it can lead to a lot of bad stuff. Crowder, for some reason, kept putting his business out there. I don't know if it was because of fear. I think he was genuinely afraid that Candace Owens was going to get some information. So he wanted to be ahead of it. But then by doing so, he put his stuff out there for everyone to really criticize him. And I like Crowder's content. I just think that he makes a lot of bad decisions, at least for the last year or so.
Because he just says stuff and it's not true and nobody fact checks him, and a lot of his followers just simply believe everything he says.
Not only did Stephen not provide any information that would vindicate his behavior, it also seems that Stephen is trying to shut down efforts to make the details of the divorce public, while his wife wants to make sure people know the details of what is going on.
Well, it also turns out
I don't like
that he
that.
lied in the effort to release all the
Hold on,
documents.
we're going to run it back. I want to hear Candace in full. But why does she want to put stuff out? Like, why? What is that? For what? Is it for spite, bitterness? Like, fam, if you got rid of him and you're not nowhere near him no more, then leave it at that. Once you got the divorce, you don't got to deal with him no more. Why you keep trying to do? Yeah, no, I'm not with that. Just leave. For both parties, keep it quiet. For any relationship I've ever been in that didn't work out, I'm responsible. It's my fault. I'm not going to badmouth no ex. Like, that sounds crazy, right? I'm not going to do that. Right? I think that's some real man-ish for one. But as far as females too as well, men find it more attractive if you hold it down. We find it more attractive if you hold it down. If you don't say nothing, not never. If you mad at us, if you don't run around and just start trying to expose, we look at that like, wifey material. That's like, but when you do the opposite, it's like, yeah.
Well, it also turns out that he lied in the effort to release all the documents. And when he showed up for court, he tried to get everything locked down. In fact, it is his wife, it turns out, that is fighting for more exposure. It is his wife that is fighting for more sunlight, which is, in fact, the best disinfectant. According to the New York Post, Hillary testified that her soon-to-be ex-husband has rage issues and punches holes in the wall, while Crowder asked for full custody of his children, claiming that Hillary exhibited erratic behavior.
Stephen accuses his wife of erratic behavior, but the specific example he described simply does not seem erratic to me at all.
What's
And if this is the worst information Stephen has about his wife, it's seemingly less and less likely to me that Stephen will be able to convince me that his wife is the person in the wrong in this situation.
Well, then he gave an example of her erratic
What's the
behavior.
example?
As an example of her erratic behavior, he alleged that Hillary had not informed him that their home address had been posted on Twitter for several months. His attorney noted that she has no public social media presence. So her erratic behavior is the fact that she didn't inform him that there was a tweet that she did not author that was on the web that had their home address on it. That sounds like a really erratic, crazy woman.
This situation with Steve.
Wait, but how does she even know it existed? Is he saying that she knew it existed and she didn't tell him? I'm so confused. Is she trying to say that, or is he saying that they were doxxed and she was aware of it but didn't reveal the information? Or is he just like, well, you should have figured it out? She don't got social media, bro, which is good. She's doing what she's supposed to. Stay your ass off it. You could watch and be on social media. I just don't think that you should have a profile of like a public figure. You shouldn't be uploading videos of your family and posting bikini pictures and none of this stupid stuff. Why does guy look like Steven Crowder too? That's crazy.
Steven Crowder and his
that look like Crowder right there. That could be Crowder's son. That's Crowder right there with the beard connected.
Wife is extremely sad because it's always incredibly sad when marriages fall apart. I'm sure that there is likely fault on both sides, but the solution to conflict within a marriage should be selfless love from both sides, not attacking the other person or seeking a divorce.
Here's the definition. Biblical love is an act of the will accompanied by emotion that leads to action on behalf of its object. Let me give it to you again. Biblical love is an act of the will. It is first and foremost a choice. We do choose. It is an act of the will. It is accompanied by emotion, which means it's not void of emotion, but it's also not led by emotion. And it leads to action on behalf of its object.
At number 1 is Logan Paul, pretending to apologize to make things right regarding one of his scams, but then not following through on what he said he would do.
6 months ago, I investigated CryptoZoo, a scam created by Logan Paul and a team of criminals. Oh, and a dude named Jeff, which ultimately resulted in millions of dollars being stolen from fans. I was threatened with a lawsuit for exposing it, but ultimately, Logan Paul decided to thank me instead for his public undressing and announced a $1.8 million refund to the victims. Now, I thought that was a great ending to the story.
So Logan Paul was able to basically save his image by promising to provide refunds and to make things right with the victims who lost money investing in his project.
Okay.
However, the problem was that either Logan lied or he isn't prioritizing this effort to the extent that it's simply not happening at all.
And I got no response. In fact, the only response I got came on my 4th attempt to reach Logan, but this one came from his criminal defense lawyers, a guy named Jeffrey Neiman. So I opened up the letter and it read, "We represent Logan Paul. Mr. Paul has informed us of your outreach about the status of the CryptoZoo buybacks. Mr. Paul remains committed to this process. We are working with Mr. Paul to evaluate the best way to achieve this goal. In the meantime, please direct to our attention any further inquiries to Mr. Paul. Thank you for your patience and understanding."
It seems pretty obvious that Logan Paul responding through a lawyer with something as vague as, "We are working with Mr. Paul to evaluate the best way to achieve this goal," is incredibly suspicious, especially because it's been numerous months already since Logan promised to provide the refunds.
He ain't doing it. Either he ain't got it or he ain't doing it. Either he ain't got it or he ain't doing it. How do you pay for lawyers? I mean, just pay these people their money back, especially if you saying, "Oh, well, it was an accident. Let's just fix it." So fix it. What are you doing?
The most reasonable interpretation is that Logan Paul is trying to avoid providing the refunds altogether.
But he had promised 1.8 million at least in refunds to these victims. And it's been 6 months and he hasn't done any of what he promised. He hasn't given anyone any of their money back. It's been complete radio silence with people begging for updates on when the refunds are coming.
Logan Paul's dishonesty and silence is extremely troubling, both because there are many victims whom Logan has scammed out of thousands of dollars, and because Logan is in serious sin that must be repented of. Logan's tendency to hide the truth at the expense of others is a moral behavior that will be judged by God, either in this life or the life to come.
No, that's facts.
Lying.
That's big facts. That's big facts. When you see someone do you wrong or do others wrong and you're like, damn, man, how come they never get this? Don't worry. First of all, vengeance ain't yours. That shouldn't even be your concern. Second, if it don't happen in this life, it's going to happen in the next. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Is the way you hide what's wrong with you and avoid consequences. Anger is the way you reach out and assault the people who threaten your freedom. Psychologists say that by the time children are 4, they have mastered the art of lying. Doesn't take long. And the first sin specifically mentioned is lying. Because again, it is the default position of fallenness. It's where sinners go most naturally. Why? For self-preservation and to do harm and damage out of anger and hatred.
In the midst of all this evil in the world around us, let us as Christians continue to have hope, because we know that God is in control and has already won the victory.
You've already read that Jesus is the ruler of the kings of the earth. Amen? That means there is no human authority that stands over and above his authority. He is the
big facts. And I've always said that, man.
Ruler of the kings of the earth. That means that there is no human authority that is going to thwart what it is that Christ has done and is doing. Fret not, saints. It's one thing to be active in our community. It's one thing to be active in our culture. It's one thing to be active in politics. It's another thing for us to sit around in the corner afraid because some decision came down or some man got elected that we think is going to thwart the plan of the ruler of the kings of the earth. Help you if you're scared of that. Folks, God is not running for God. Christ is the ruler of the kings of the earth.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos,
yeah, you really did an amazing job. You did a really good job. What's the name of this person, man? Let me get their channel name. Their channel name. Treasured Christ. Oh, yeah, that was good. That was good. Hit them with a like button. Yeah, that was super dope. That was an awesome video. I really enjoyed it, man. It was really informative, too, as well. When it comes to a lot of these people in society, they're going to keep playing games, and they're going to mess around and find out. That's a fact. That is a fact, man. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit the like button as well. Share the video. Check me out on Patreon and check me out on memberships if you're able to. And if not, don't worry about it. Just watch more videos, man.